Hey guys, ST here. So, I have to take a moment to get over the scenes from next week's or the next episode of Walking Dead. I'm not sure if it's on next week or not, but whew, I'll get to that in a hot second. Because tonight we're talking about this week's episode, which starts off with the group at Hilltop. They're basically making weapons, learning how to throw knives, how to do, close combat fighting. The blacksmith is working overtime. Jesus is doing his best to make out a map for Sasha of Cat. I swear to God. Do I hear? I hear something. I got a cat. You gonna say hi? No? Okay, go away. Yeah, Jesus is making a map for Sasha of the Savior compound. And no, I'm hearing voices. Maybe that's the TV in the other room I'm hearing. I don't usually hear that. Daryl's busy moping, of course, trying not to make himself seen by Maggie, I guess you could say. He's really avoiding her because he's still got all that internalized guilt over Glenn's death. Gregory is obviously plotting something because it's Gregory, and just as everything's starting to get like it seems to be going right along the plan of Hilltop joining in the fight, Rosita shows up to Sasha and is like, I need your help. So, big surprise there. We all kind of knew that was coming. Driver's done. So, that's where the opening credits start. Again, kind of a short opening. They're probably saving the longer, scarier openings for later this week. Or later this season. We only got 2 episodes left, guys. 2 episodes. Everything's got to go down in the next 2 episodes. Or else we get Negan again for another season. Not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so we cut back. And Sasha's talking with Jesus. And Enid, I guess, is kind of there. Because they walk in on her scavenging for bullets and Jesus' stuff. And basically Sasha explains that, just to summarize her big long monologue about everything, she feels kind of expendable. Like, no one really needs her. Maggie's got all these people got Maggie, Enid's helping her, Jesus is helping her. Sasha's not really necessary anymore. So Sasha feels like she can go off and do this thing with Rosita. Rosita's going to do it either way. So if she goes with Rosita, maybe there's the slightest glimmer of a chance that they might come back. So Jesus walks off. And then Sasha gives Enid, like, the saddest little friendship bracelet that apparently she's been working on for Maggie's baby, and tells Enid, hey, maybe you can work on this for me, but make sure you give it to her. And I'm just sitting here looking at it like, dude, really? That takes me like 30 minutes to do. You're not done with it yet? I mean, are you, like, making the floss yourself? It's obviously got enough length to it. Whatever. It's supposed to be one of those, like, meaningful things that isn't really meaningful because it's bullshit. But anyway, so Enid tells her, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to go tell Maggie what you're doing in about 10 minutes, so, do with that what you will. And then Enid leaves, and Sasha starts packing up. But then the Saviors show up. Like, and that exact moment is when the Saviors decide... The cat is behind me. The Saviors decide they want to show up, and, no reason. Just, they're all Saviors are coming, the Saviors are coming. So, I wrote down Sashita. Sasha and Rosita, who did show up there, take off. They have this little cubby hole that they're able to jump in and climb through, and, they got like a tunnel made or something. They go that way. Maggie and Daryl, who, of course, if you recall, are not supposed to be there. Maggie supposedly died because Negan showed some interest in hooking up with her, and of course, Rick was all like, she did. No, it wasn't Rick who said she died. It was, what's his face? The preacher. Gabriel said she died. So, she's not supposed to be around. And of course, Daryl's not supposed to be around. So, they go down in the cellar to hide. And Gregory, of course, he grovels, like, massively grovels, so kissing ass to Simon, the, right-hand man to Negan. Oh, I can get you some gin. You got gin? Oh, you like tequila now? I totally get you some tequila. We boys, right? We boys. We good. So everyone's hiding. And then we cut back to Rosita and Sasha, who are out trying to find a car to jack. Rosita notices Sasha wearing this necklace that apparently Rosita made for Abraham. So awkward, you know, we have to bring up that whole, you know, you stole my boyfriend moment or whatever's supposed to be going on there. And Sasha tries to kind of converse with Rosita because she likes Rosita. She's always kind of liked Rosita. You know, she has no animosity towards her. Probably feels bad about the whole Abraham thing with Rosita. And she's trying to, not really small talk, but get to know Rosita. Maybe get her to come out of this funk a little bit. Rosita's hell-bent on kamikaze here. She is ready to just go in, point herself straight at Negan, and blow up while taking the man out. She does not care what happens to her, and she really doesn't want anyone to kind of ruin her mindset for that. So, yeah, that's fun and awkward. And then we cut back to the Saviors, who aren't really, like, searching the place. There's one guy who's getting close to the cellar door where, you know, Maggie and Daryl just hid. And Edith comes running up, and she's trying to distract him. She's like, oh, I got this basket of vegetables. Can you take this? And for a moment there, I thought they were going to go towards the sleazeball guy hitting on, you know, a much younger chick route. Because, you know, she's definitely underage. But they did not go there. He instead just took the knife that she had on her. The very, very nice knife, which, you know, you would think that she'd probably keep that hidden with the Saviors around, knowing that Saviors like to snag just about anything that looks pretty. And, no, he takes it. He totally takes her knife. And he goes down in the cellar anyway. So, you know, we get that tense moment of, oh God, is he going to find them back there hiding behind all the crates and boxes and everything else? So then, we cut back to Gregory with Simon, and they're there for the doctor. They're there for Dr. Carson, I believe was his name. So of course they need a doctor. Remember last week, or not last week, but the other week when, you know, the big Eugene episode, I was like, oh crap, Eugene's, you know, got himself in trouble because he's not really a doctor. And I was kind of like, well, I don't remember Gene ever selling himself as a medical doctor. This is what they meant when they said they got a spare. Carson at Hilltop, who turns out to be the brother of the one they threw in the fireplace. So, you know, that's really a painful moment there. He finds out his brother is dead. In the douchiest manner ever. Gregory's a douche, Simon's a douche. There's just a bunch of douches in this episode. You know, douches tend to rule the world. So he's, you know, Simon's like, oh no, don't worry, Gregory, we're taking you to the doctor, we're totally leaving you hooked up. Gives him a big ass crate of aspirin. Yeah, just big ass crate of aspirin, because that'll solve all your problems. I guess, you know, if you have to, you can, you know, take an entire bottle of aspirin. I don't know. More cats running around in the background. So then you move on, and Gregory's, again, trying to be sneaky, definitely being a douche, implying that I need to keep the doctor because I need to keep goodwill around here, because you don't know what'll happen if someone else, you know, decides that they'd do a better job than I do because I just lost the doctor, and, you know, they might have crazy ideas and stuff. And Simon's like, what you talking about? Gregory's like, oh no, nothing, totally, no, I'm not talking about nothing, I'm just saying. And Simon goes, okay, well, you know, if you ever need to talk, just show up and they'll let you in, no questions asked, as long as there's not shenanigans. So, yeah, I don't think that's gonna end well. Having read the comics, I know that's probably not gonna end well. So then they cut to a commercial break, and first word of the night is pig. Couldn't see where they were going with that one. Well, sometimes I can kind of see where they're going with the word or the two words for the night, but in this case. So, cut back. Guy is snooping around, Savior's snooping around the cellar. Maggie and Daryl are hiding in the back, and Daryl's getting ready to lunge out and stab him with a knife, and Maggie just kind of holds him back a little bit, because, you know, that's not going to turn out well. So, the Savior does not see them, grabs something that's in there, leaves, heads out of the cellar. And Maggie and Daryl come out, like, almost immediately after he's left. Which, you know, to me is kind of like, you're not going to wait for someone to give the all clear, because how do you know he's not about to come right back? How do you know, someone else isn't about to come in? You know, now you're just hanging out, having a big, long conversation out in the middle of the cellar. Which, unfortunately, is kind of a conversation that really needed to be had, so I can only complain a little bit. Because basically Maggie calls Daryl out on how he's been all standoffish to her. And he starts crying and apologizing for having, gotten Glenn killed. And she's like, no, that's totally not your fault. I know you're a good person. Glenn always said you were a good person. And I believe him because he's a good person. And, no, trust me, I wanted to kill all of them. But we have to do it in a way that we know we're going to win. And they hug it out. And it's really sad and touching. And, God, man, Daryl, that poor dude just has so much internalized guilt. Oh. So, okay. And then we cut back to Rosita and Sasha, who are still attempting to get a car. And they do this complex maneuver that we saw, or that I saw. If you watched Talking Dead, you would have seen this scene too. Basically, they reach through a fence and they break out the window of a car and they set the car on fire to bring walkers over to that side of the fence. And then they climb over on a different section to get at cars. And I'm guessing it's like it's either impound lot or a car dealership. I don't know. I don't remember seeing like stickers, for sale on them. So it's probably a impound lot. And they managed to get a car and just drive away. So, second word of the night turns out to be truck. So your two words for tonight are pig truck. And I am still, for the life of me, not figuring out what the hell that meant or what that had to do with the episode, unless the two pickup trucks that they used to take the doctor away in were pig trucks. I don't know. I'm not familiar with vehicles, and I'm definitely not familiar with livestock transportation. So, go back to the show. Rosita and Sasha are now up in their building, because there was apparently a building not that far off from the compound where they could take sniper shots. And they've only got 2 sniper rounds. But, so they're up there, and Sasha's looking through it, and she sees Eugene doing his Eugene thing. Walking around, giving people orders, directing them how to set up the metal walkers. So she tells Rosita, she spotted Eugene out there, looked like he was giving orders, and Rosita's totally like, oh yeah, he's probably playing an angle. Which is, at this point, what I'm figuring, Eugene's totally playing an angle. Because Eugene's all about the angles, Eugene's all about making sure he stays alive, but, whatever. Rosita's I guess doing busy work, just making knots in some rope that she found. I don't know. They don't look like coherent knots. It's not like doesn't look like she's setting up traps or anything. And of course Sasha's all like, well, teach me those knots. So Rosita finally opens up and starts teaching Sasha bondage ties. I don't get that at all. I don't know why this was the particular moment where Rosita finally opened up to Sasha. And they start bonding. And they start talking, and Rosita confesses that, she had a long string of boyfriends that she hooked up with and learned everything that they knew about various stuff and then dropped. And, Abraham wasn't really like that, because Abraham already knew that she knew everything she knew or something. And he never, he always took her seriously, and he never, belittled her. So that was part of why she enjoyed his presence so much. So they bond. And they get teary-eyed and they get emotional, and they go to check the window to see if Negan's come out yet. And they say that the doctor's been taken. They cannot get a clean shot at Negan because, there's a bunch of people around, and, Sasha just wants to make sure if she shoots, she kills. She's not going to do some, I'm accidentally shot Lucille instead of Negan type shot. So they watch everyone. They watch Sasha watches Negan hug on Eugene, and then they all go back inside. And then they overhear on the radio Eugene giving orders, a long list of orders. This is Dr. Eugene, whatever, and here's my instructions, and everyone needs to do this per Negan, who I also am, and Negan, I am also Negan, and just yada 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 yada. So Sasha and Rosita decide they're going in. They're definitely going in. Slight change of plans, they're going in. And they start packing up all their stuff to go into the building. Now we go back to Jesus and Gregory. This is at this point I thought the episode was actually over, because it was about 10 o'clock. They're getting ready to show Into the Badlands tonight, the season premiere. So I thought the episode was over. I was not expecting a couple more scenes. So I was kind of, sort of already slightly tuned out. But we cut back, and Gregory's meeting with Jesus, and he's telling Jesus, hey, you got too many people in your place, you need to, have some of them come stay here, fire code or some stupid bullshit like that. He's like, oh, and I also have jobs for them all to do because everyone needs to pull their weight because, they're totally not pulling their weight already. And Jesus is just looking at him. He's like, you must be really afraid of them if you're trying to split them up. And Gregory's like, yeah, you know what? I wouldn't be so snide if I were you. You never know what's going to happen. I think that's how it went. But basically, Jesus took that to be the threat it was, and Gregory's just like, oh no, I'm not no, not me, no, never. I would never be sneaky and threaten you or anything like that. He tells Jesus, you can go ahead and go. And as he's leaving, someone brings him in a bottle of tequila. So obviously, he's planning on hooking up with Simon and being the total huge douche that he is. 2 episodes, people. 2 episodes. And then cut back to Eugene and somebody are outside. It's nighttime now. And they're walking towards the walker on the fence. And, Eugene's talking shit. And silent shot kills the walker and the guy with Eugene. And Eugene, of course, crouches down all whimpering and crying. And Sasha and Rosita run up to the fence, and Rosita's like, Eugene, we're getting you out. She's trying to cut the fence open, and Eugene's like, no, I don't want you to be here, go away. I'm not going with you. And he runs back into the building. So, okay, guys, I'm torn now, because I don't know if he did this because he's not certain that what they are doing is of their own accord, or if they're part of the group as a whole. Like, if it's just Rosita and Sasha getting revenge for Abraham, he knows that's not going to go well. He doesn't want to throw his lot in with them and get screwed. But if he thinks that it's part of the entire group and that by not going with them, he's somehow betraying them, I don't know. I don't know Eugene's thinking at this point. I'm really hoping it's not just that he's being a cowardly asshole. And, because, man, I really enjoy Eugene. I want to keep him around longer. And I know he's probably going to bite it pretty soon. I'm going to be very upset. I'm going to be very, very upset. No one really died in this episode. There were a lot of threats thrown around. People changed locations. And, yeah. So Eugene ran back in the building. And Rosita decides that they're going to go in after him. And so Sasha starts working on the fence while Rosita covers her back. And then somehow Sasha gets inside the fence, but, refastens it in a way that Rosita can't follow her. And she tells Rosita, you need to run. I'm just going to go take care of this myself. And she goes in suicide mission. You can hear gunshots and shouts and everything. We don't actually see her die. Not a great thing. And then Rosita runs away. Crying, of course, because, she wanted to be the one to sacrifice herself. Now, as for scenes for the next episode and why I am just so livid right now, in the scenes, it's very convoluted. There's some people I see that I don't recognize, so I don't know if these are people who, what's going on there. Looks like they're taking the boat over some water. Basically, the way it looks is that Rick and the gang are attacking Oceanside, or whatever that, secret Amazon village in the woods is. It looks like they're attacking with explosions. Which, if that is, in fact, what is going on, they've lost me. Rick and the gang have lost me. I mean, this is a relatively peaceful group that, just keep to themselves, and yeah, they take out people who show up, but after having what happened with the Saviors, you really can't blame them too much. And if you're just gonna roll up in there and shoot them all and, blow their home up and take all their weapons and just be general assholes about it, I can't support that. You're no better than Negan. I am hoping, because this is the only way I see it playing out, is that what we saw with the explosions and stuff was actually Saviors attacking, and Rick and the gang is in fact trying to have a tea party with the Oceanside folks and just being, generally nice and happy. Anyhow, that was this week's wrap up, and I don't know, I mean, it was basically a lot of setup. Not a whole lot really happened. I was happy Daryl got his moment with Maggie. Everything else was just setting up for future angst. So if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter. It's all SDR, ESDEAR, and I will see you guys at the next episode, which may or may not be next week. So until then, SD out. Bye. Da, 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 da.